All right, yeah. So myself, Nikunj, I'm a senior developer over here in Encapsulate, and I have more than 5 years of experience in Salesforce and CPQ and QTC tools. And you can follow me over here. This is my Twitter handle, Nikunj. Okay. So what we're going to cover today is flow,
And
basically. So,
we are not able to see your that PPT. We are only seeing your yeah. Now we are able to see.
all right. Yep. So I post the presentation. So yeah. So okay. So the agenda for today is here basically. So we're going to cover two things today. One is introduction to Lightning Flow, and then the introduction to the Flow Builder. So Lightning Flow is a product provided by Salesforce, which you can use to perform certain tasks or create certain screens. So that is a very interesting tool provided by Salesforce, with where the low code is a priority in Salesforce. So this Lightning Flow is a tool towards that low code mentality. And then there is this flow builder where you can build the flows using different kind of tools. Okay, and feel free to stop me wherever you have any doubts. I mean, I'm not going to have the Q&A at the end of session. We'll cover it in middle, so that all has the idea as and when we are going through. Okay, all right. So what is the benefit of having a flow when you can always have a screen and everything configured by like Visual Force? You have Lightning component and all. So what is the benefit of flow? So first thing is the flow has by default Lightning ready UI. You don't have to go and apply certain styles and sales Lightning style sheet and all. You can do it just simply by dragging and dropping the components into the screen. So you have the screen ready. It is low code. It is not no code, but it is low code. You can have your custom things injected in the flow. So it is low code approach. As I said, you have the drag and drop facility. You can drag and drop components in the screen, and your screen is like done. Okay, and then now let's go to type of flows. Okay, so let me go over here. Let's jump into the actual Salesforce stuff. Okay, so I have this thing flows. So let me go over here. So I am in the setup and flows. So when I click new flow, okay, so the new flow opens up. So basically there are two type of flows. Okay, so one is a screen flow and one is auto launch flow. So what it means is, as it says, the screen flow is for collect information from users through screens. So if you have to build certain screens and check boxes and like form kind of thing, then you use the screen flow. And then auto launch flow is like your Apex or some method which performs some task and gives back the control to whatever the parent it is calling. Okay, so that is auto launch flow. So we have two type of flow: screen flow and auto launch flow. All right, so assume that we have created a flow. Okay, so now how to invoke the flow, how and where the flow can be used. So these are certain methods that using which you can invoke the flow. So the first and foremost, the simplest thing is flow URL. You can have the flow URL in your iframe or somewhere, and then the flow will be opening up over there using that particular URL. You can pass the URL parameters, and those will be used as like a flow variables there. Then you can have a login flow. So this is something where so you want to do something on a user's login. Okay, you want to calculate some sharing or check some sharing and all that. You have to change some sharing settings on login, so that you can do using a login flow, which will be invoked when the user logs in. Okay, parent flow is something where you can have a flow calling another flow, like a parent flow, and then you have some repetitive tasks that you want to perform by a different flow just to make your screens look cleaner. Your flow builder looks cleaner. You can have this parent flow kind of subflow kind of stuff, where a parent flow is calling a child flow, and the child flow is giving the control back to the parent flow. Then you can have lightning quick action, okay, which is calling the flow. You can have lightning components invoking the flow. You can have Visual Force page invoking the flow. You can also have Apex invoking the flow. But the trick is whenever you are invoking the flow from lightning component or visual force page, as it is a screen component. I mean, it is not a rule, but it is ideal that this lightning component and visual force page will call a screen flow. Rather, Apex will call a automatic flow, which will perform some tasks and give the control back to Apex. Okay. And then you can also inject a flow in lightning page or community using the app builder. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take a break over here and wait for some questions. Is there any questions on the on phone?
Yeah, you can actually through process builder also we can invoke the flow, right?
Yeah, we can also invoke a flow from process builder. Yeah, that I forgot over here. Yeah, we can do that. Good point. Then any other questions? No. All right. So I'll take a silence as no, and we'll move forward. So then what you have is different. We will be understanding different flow capabilities. Okay. So you have three interactions, three logic, and four data. Okay, this is very similar to what we have in Apex. Okay, like whenever you are learning any new language, this is very similar to that. So let me make a flow, and then we'll play around with it, and then we'll see how and what we can do with the flow. Okay, so I am in the flow builder. So this is a flow builder. Okay, so what you can do with flow builder is you can have some screen. So for example, let's say this is my demo one screen. Okay, I can have some description. I can configure like I want a header, footer or not. Okay, so this is my demo. Then you connect it with a start element. Okay, and then you can have a number of screens over here. Like this is demo one, and then let's say this is demo two. And then you can connect this with this, so it will be like that. So let me put some text over here. So these are the input parameters. So let's go through this. Okay, so the first thing is address. So address is something where you say like you want the address composite field in Salesforce. So if you have any address composite field in Salesforce, you can directly map that field to address. Then this is a checkbox, where you have a checkbox in a form, checkbox group, which is a group of checkbox. You can select a number of out of it. Okay, currency, date time, self-explanatory. Dependent pick list is also self-explanatory. If you want to display some image over here, you can also do that. Like I put the display image over here. You give the resource name. Okay, and then you have the image there. Okay, email field, file upload, a button where you can upload the file. Long text area, lookup, name, number, password. Name is not text field, it is different than text field because you have the first name and last name and everything. Okay, password kind of field, phone number, pick list, radio button. You can have a slider, you can have a text field, you can have a toggle button, or you can have a display URL. And then you can also have some display text over here. So if I have something over here, I can put something like testing demo screen 1. Okay, I can format the text like whatever how I want. You can change the font, I can make them bold, italic, underline. Okay, you can also insert image over here. This is a beta feature, this is not like provided yet. You can remove all the formatting. You can link things, like you can select the text and link it to somewhere. You can have it aligned over here. You can have the indentation. Okay. So now if I save this and demo flow 16 Jan. Okay, and if I go to debug this, if I have some input variables, I can provide it from here. This is a debugging of flow. This is how you debug the flow. So you have the first testing demo screen. You can put the insert flow, all the fields over here, and then we have nothing in the next screen. So let me put some inputs in that screen. So let me put the name, which is not common. So let me put the name over here, and then below name I'll put the address. Checkbox is self-explanatory. Checkbox group read type and list display how much email. You can put a file upload as well. Okay. So the name is, let me make it name only. Address, let me name it address. You can change the label over here. I can make potential address, and I can say file. I can say this is your address proof. You have to provide the related record ID to which this will link. Okay, so let me create a new kind of resource. So we'll go through this resource in a moment. Let me create a variable of type contact. Okay, so now let me save this and let me now debug this. Okay, so now let me debug the flow. Okay, so as you can see, I have all the first name and last name. So if I say Nikunj Vedia, it has the placeholder text by default. You can have street, city, state, zip, and as you see, the labels are also here. So this is kind of a form that we have created in a moment. So as you can see, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 input fields in like what 2 or 3 minutes. We have created a form. Okay, and then you can have a backend to save the data. Okay, so this is what a screen can do. Okay, all right. The next is action. So if you want to call Apex or if you want to send an email, so that kind of actions can be triggered from here. So if I go to action and show you, what you can do is you can have the Apex action, you can have the email alert triggering from here. Okay, how you can have the Apex action? You can use the invocable keyword, which I'm going to cover in a moment, and those invocable actions can be invoked from here. Okay, you can also invoke a subflow. So from a parent flow you can invoke a different flow, and then once this flow is executed, the control will come back to this parent flow. Okay, Any doubts in these three interactions? We are clear?
Hi, Nikunj, Siddhi here.
Yep. Hi, Siddhi.
Are you going to, hey, are you going to get into the detail about more fill types while saving page on screen?
Like no. So in 1 hour, I won't be able to cover like all the field types. So what I have done is I have like ex added explicitly what I think were needed description. So other than that, like these are sessions. If you have any doubt about any specific thing,
Yeah,
we can
I
cover. Yeah.
do actually. I was just working on a test project, and one of my object has a master detail field,
Okay.
and I was trying to incorporate that kind of field on a flow. So, is it possible?
It should be. So let me add a lookup over here and see what happens. So let's say if this is a lookup and if I make it required, doesn't it help you for like your master detail relationship? You just need to provide an object here, right? So for example, this is a contact. Assume this is a contact, okay? Let's say lookup field API name is the objects. So we have the contact account ID. So where's the contact created? Let's say account ID. It should be the API name only. Label is account. Object API name is contact. Code ID. ID value for the lookup. We don't need that. Required to true. And now if we save this, let's see what happens. Yeah, so if you provide the ID and all, like here,
Okay, all right. So I should be using lookup type,
yeah, you should
input
be
type.
using the lookup
Okay,
with required true, so that should be like your master detail stuff, you know.
all right. I'm going to try this
And
out. Thank you.
yeah, yep. All right. So moving on. So we're done with the interactions. Now let's see what a logic is. Uh, this is very simple. So assignment is something where you assign some variables to other variables. So you just provide the label and API name for that particular thing. So assignment one, and I say something like variable contact dot ID equals, let me put the real contact from somewhere and hard code the ID there for the demo purpose, definitely. So let's say Andy Young. I have this ID. I'll copy paste this and then we'll put it over here. Okay, this is my thing. So the contact ID is there. Now if I read stuff, link this to this, and then assignment one to screen one. So as you can see in my related record ID, I'm using the related contact ID. Then whenever I have to save this file will be saved to that particular contact. I'm not like done all the backend and all. This is not like full-fledged working solution. I'm just demoing the capabilities over here. Okay, so that is the assignment. A decision is something that you have to decide, like for example, okay, so this is a very interesting thing. So basically you have the label and API name is like default in everything. You have the screen and everything, you have the label and API name. This okay, and you say record, let's say if you're doing record matching, okay, and now you say variable contact dot id equals this particular id, then record, so you will say record matched. Then you have this a default outcome which is going to execute if no criteria. This is like your if else. So I can say record matched, record not matched, and then this is your final else part. Like switch case, you have the switch case 1, case 2, case 3, and then the default. This is like that. So in this case, it is basic simple else record not match. Okay. So after this assignment, if record is matched, I'm going to go to screen 1. Definitely this is gonna match. And if it doesn't match, I'm going to go to screen 2. So this is how you can decide like different screens and all. You can have a number of screens in the flow. So that's how it helps you to decide the different user interface for like different conditions. Okay. So the loop is something, let me show you the loop very easily. So I have this flow ready with me. So let me show you that actually. A loop will be, okay. So a loop is something, so I'm doing loop through list line items, okay, looping through the opportunity line item collection, and then for each thing I am displaying the screen, and then I am updating that data. Okay, let me show you how it works. Okay, so what I'm doing basically is I'm getting all the products and then creating a opportunity products out of it. So I have this opportunity. Okay, I just click on add products. Okay, so I have this number of products, 200 kV. I'll select diesel 200 kV, propane 100 kV, and the gasoline 300 kilowatt. Okay, so when I select, so I have this thing to have 3 screens in, so the screen is in loop. Okay, so what it will do is it will loop through for these 3 products with 3 different screens. So this is the first diesel 200 kV. I'll say quantity 2, description test 1, then go to next. Propane 100 kilowatt, quantity 5, description test 2, and then next quantity 10, description test 3. And now when I click on 3, the next thing it will display me all the products that I have selected. Okay, so this is a role of loop. I hope this clarifies. Okay, so that is that. All right, any doubts in loops or assignment or decision? Is that clear to all? I hope yes. All right then. So next we have these 4 actions which makes this flow work with data. Okay, so you can create records, you can update records, you can query records, which is get records, and then you can delete records. Okay, let me do get records. Okay, let me query contact. going to query contact with contact id equals where contact dot id. Okay, so this is my, I hope you guys are not familiar with Apex or SQL. So if you are, then this is your where condition basically in the SQL query. Then you have sorting, ascending or descending. I'm not sorting this data, so I'm going to get only first record because I'm getting through the IDs. Then I can have a number of fields over here. So let's say first name, last name, let's say mailing address. That should be enough, I guess. Okay, done. Now let me put this query record over here, and this query records, go to screen thing, and now let me map the values with this thing. Okay, so the first name should be contact's first name, label is name, last name should be contact's last name, okay, mutation, I'm not giving effects, and also like output values, let me map to value dot first name, this dot last name. Okay, this is done. And let me also map the address. So like I have to map all these things, city and all. Mailing city, mailing country. This is the country option. If the country configured in, I don't need it over here. It is actually over here. Country value, label, postal code, mailing, postal code, and let's say just map the street now. Okay, and then over this I have this two over here. And the lookup, let me go to the lookup field, account, data beginning. Now let me save this, and now let us debug this stuff. Hopefully it worked. Okay, so what went wrong? contact because it hasn't been set or assigned. Okay, so what happened is I have to assign this record to manually assign variables. This variable contact record. It's done. We save this. Now let me debug this. Hopefully now this will work. So I have to also maybe mailing. Okay, so this address is a composite field. So what it's saying me is I have to add all the fields. Mailing city, mailing street, and then we map what zip code, mailing state. Hopefully this works. Okay, and now let me debug this. Okay, so as you can see, I have the ND Young 1301 hash drive Lawrence 66045 USA over here. Okay, I can upload some file to it as well, like this PPT. Okay, and this is my contact ND Young. You can go over here. Okay, so as you can see in details, I have the file uploaded to this record. Okay, without any DML or anything, I just uploaded the file over here. It is updated to this. Okay, if I go to details, as you can see, the address is this. It is copied from the database. Now, if I go and hit the update records after this, it's gonna update that record. And if I create a form, and then using that form, if I create record using the thing, it's gonna create a record, like insert an update statement, and then you can also delete that particular record. Okay, so these are the basic interactions that we can do. Okay, now let's go to the second tab and click on new resource. All right, hold on. So do we have any doubts over here, like in interactions, logic, or data, the four elements, the three elements that the Salesforce provided for flow? All right, so I hope we are clear on this. Okay, so now if I click on new resource, I have different types over here. So first thing is variable. So when I select a variable, I have different data types. A text type of variable, which is a string variable that we have in Apex or code. A record is a subject variable, like we created for contact just now. Number, currency, boolean, date time. Pick list is self-explanatory, and multi-select pick list is also self-explanatory. So if we select pick list, okay, or let's say multi-select pick list, it will be a pick list, a variable with a set kind of thing. Okay, then you have this constant, which is a constant which cannot be updated or changed in the flow. Then you have the formula, which you have like x is equal to y plus 5, so that this kind of formulas you can create over here. You have the text template, which will be a text template which will be using on like pages. So for example, on a page, you have to display certain text or some wording or some paragraphs. You can use the text template. Choice is something which you have over here. Okay, so you have to create different choices and then you can use it over here. Then I have the record choice set. So record choice set is a pick list which you already have on the object. A choice is something which you will create over here runtime. So over here, if you go to opportunity, let's say, okay, and then you have the list of records over here, which will be a list of opportunities. Okay, then you have pick list choice set, which will be pick list choice set. Data type is pick list, so you'll have all the pick list field over here. Over here, if you select multi-select pick list, so it will have all the multi-select pick list over here. So these are the value that is already existing in your Salesforce fields. Okay, so like if you say stage, so all the stage field will be over here in this particular collection. Then that you have to pass to the screen element which we have created as a pick list. Okay, any doubts over here? All right, so that was related to variable. And yeah, that is it. So that we have different type of capabilities. Okay, all right, how do you invoke a code from flow? So as we saw, there are some limitations to flow as well. So for example, you cannot do like nesting and all. If you do nesting and all inside the flow, that can blow up your flow. I mean that can run into some very slow performance issues and all. So what you can do is you can have the apex invoked from the flow. So like this, you can have the invocable method, and that particular method will be invoked from the flow. Okay, now on the screen, if you want to display some lightning component which is a custom, so for example, the thing we have over here in this screen. So if you want something out of this 23 thing, you just have to display this custom, like whenever you have that interface extended. So if this implements available for flow screens, then your lightning component can be invoked from the flow. You can embed your lightning component in your flow. Okay, and then these are the resources on Railhead that you can use for flow. Okay, let me show you this flow that I have created. Okay, let me explain you what I did, just for like understanding the complex flow structure. So what I'm doing is I'm passing the opportunity ID, I'm querying the opportunity, then I have the screen to select products that we saw. Let me go back there once again. So we have this 4 products. So this is like a product screen. This is a product screen. Then you fetch the selection for all the products selected. Then you iterate on all the selected products. Okay, you query the price. You query the price book entry and associate it with the opportunity line item. Okay, we created the 3 line items, and then we have created the 3 line items. This is assignment, and then this is the DML. Okay, to create line items. Then I'm looping through all the line items and displaying screen for each line item to update that line item with some data. Okay, once done, I'm adding that line item to the update list, and then I'm updating that line item. Over here I am displaying a card, which is nothing but a custom component. So this is the custom component. where I'm passing the opportunity ID and it is getting the card from that opportunity, and then it displays the navigate. You just navigate to record. So this is how it works in real time. So if you see, with just one lightning component, I have created 4 or 5 screens and all the calculations over here. This is the fourth. So this is the updated card with all the data. So as we have updation and creation, it created those line items. And once from the cart I click next, it's gonna redirect me back to my opportunity record. So these are the capabilities of Flow, and you can see the products added to that particular opportunity line items. Okay, all right. So we are at 10:55, and these are the resources that you can use for Flow. Okay, all right. Any doubts in Flow? Anything related to this? If you want me to cover something else in the Flow, if you want me to show you something else that you are facing in your project and not able to walk through, so yeah, I'll be happy to help as we have 15 minutes.
Yeah, guys, if you have any question related to the flow, please ask to Nikunj, or if you have not get anything from these resources or the values which that Nikunj have shown you. So if you have any question, please ask now only.
Aladdin, I don't have any question right now, but I'm sure when I'm going to try to put all these things on page, there will be question. At that time, can we just
Yeah,
pass those questions to you later on?
yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. I'll be happy to help. I mean, you can follow me over here, and whatever email you have, I'll be happy to help anytime.
Okay, sure. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sure, Siddhi, no problem. If anyone or anyone from this call also if having any question related to the flow in future, you can ping me. I'll ask to Nikunj, or I'll try to help you out. If I'll not be able to help, I'll ask to Nikunj. He will be helping you. Not an issue for that. So just I'll
Okay.
recommend all of you to just to create some example of flow in your own, and please let me know if you have any question
Yeah,
on that.
sure. Aladdin, are you passing on this PPT to those who are attending
Yes,
this call?
yes, I'll be sharing with all of them. I have recorded this session and I'll be sharing that recording with
All
all
right.
of
So I
them.
have this link to my Twitter handle, so you can follow me over there as well. All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sure.
Nikunj,
Okay,
just
then.
one question.
Yes.
Sorry, just one question, sir. This flow, I mean, since you mentioned the limitation about flow, right? So, is flow used in real-time scenarios like in projects, or
Yeah,
is
yeah,
coding
it is
difficult?
used. Yes, it is used. I myself have used a very extensive flow with like what, like 12 screens, okay? And those 12 screen I have used lightning components and different navigations. So this is very useful when you have navigations, okay? So when you have different navigations, it is not ideal to use lightning component because then you are showing and hiding stuff with some weird conditions, okay? Rather than you have the reusable lightning component, put them in a flow screen, okay, and then display it in the flow, so you can have the separate diffusions and then you can redirect things on your own, right? So this is used in real projects, and I myself using this very extensively.
Okay, okay. Thanks.